Hey gang, Todd here, and we're going to look at the last episode of Season 2 of Loki. Might not be a Season 3, but Season 2 had a good ending. After learning to control his time slipping, Loki reappears right before Victor Timely goes out and gets destroyed by the temporal radiation. And then we get our first Groundhog Day montage as he tries over and over again to speed everything up. To keep Victor from getting disintegrated immediately, he finally realizes the helmet was not latched it down properly and had to duct tape part of it. And more and more, it's all about time. It's taking too long. The radiation gets too high for too long. And there's a hilarious moment where he asks Obi, how long would it take for me to know everything you know? Well, it'd take decades, even centuries. So they cut to several centuries later, and he's just boom, 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 getting everything out there. And then finally, everything lines up, and Victor Timely struggles through the radiation, and he gets to the deployment device, and he puts their makeshift thing in, and he spins it around, and he hits the button twice because it sometimes sticks, and it fires in, and the loom starts to expand, and then he makes it back saying pumpkins, which apparently was a 19th century victory cry, I guess. Only it doesn't really work. It stabilizes temporarily, but then starts to go out of control again. Apparently, Victor surmises that there are too many strands. There's an infinite number of strands of possibility going into the loom. You cannot calculate infinity. It's like multiplying by zero. It can't be done. And then Loki realizes, okay, to stop this and save everyone, he's going to have to go back and prevent Sylvie from killing He Who Remains. So we get our second Groundhog Day montage, in which he constantly fails at preventing Sylvie from killing He Who Remains. At one point, He Who Remains stops Sylvie with his time stone, and he and Loki have a conversation. He's realized Loki is time slipping to do this, and it comes to the realization he cannot stop what's going. He also is told by He Who Remains that Victor is incorrect. The loom's entire function is to maintain the sacred timeline. It doesn't matter how many loops or infinite strands go in. If it overloads, all that will remain is the sacred timeline, and the loom will keep it going. If he wants to save everyone and keep things, he'll have to kill Sylvie. At which point, Loki says, well, I could just destroy the loom. Nope. If you destroy the loom, everything dies. That's how the loom works. It's the only thing keeping everything going. It will wipe out the TVA, but it will, again, maintain the secret timeline. Loki seems trapped. Either allow He Who Remains to die, or kill Sylvie. Oh, he also learns that there are already Kang variants. there will always be Kang variants. Even while he's in charge, there are Kang variants. So, Loki decides on a third option. And he time slips back. And he goes out without a suit into the temporal radiation, locking everybody inside. And as he's walking down the gangplank, his outfit starts to shred, his TVA clothes, and he goes into full Loki costume, horns and all. And using his Asgardian powers, he destroys the loom. All the strands are just scattered, and they're slowly dying. And Loki gathers them up one by one, slowly, energizing them with his own power. And he opens up a rift into where He Who Remains realm. And he walks there up to a chair, a throne. And he sits, and he combines all of the strands he's gathered into the Asgardian Tree of Life, which is much easier to handle all the strands because a tree branches as it grows. Nice metaphor. We then cut to sometime later. The TVA is still working, only now they basically just keep the timeline under control. All the different factions. They aren't there to prune anything. Just keep it all under control. And secondarily, hunt down any Kang variants. And there's a little Easter egg where Mobius talks about how, well, on 616, there was a Kang that looked to be a problem, but they handled it themselves. I think that's a little veiled reference to Ant-Man Quantumania. More than likely. And Mobius finally looks at his records that he had requisitioned, and he decides to retire from the TVA. And he goes and he watches his other self play with his kids and just contemplates where he may want to go. Sylvie joins him, they have a little conversation, and then she's off to have some adventures. So apparently she's not going back to the McDonald's. We then cut to Renslayer, who, if you forgot, was pruned, so she's still on that planet, and the watchdog is coming for her. But she seems more determined than scared, so she may be reappearing with something under her control. And our last shot is of Loki, smirking, realizing the joke he had always made of, I am cursed with glorious, or burdened with glorious purpose, turned out to be true. And although at this point he didn't want a throne, he has a throne, just not the way he thought. It's a nice retribution arc. Oh, post-credit scene is someone playing a video game and it says game over, so who knows what that means. They didn't show us what happened to Brad, but I'm assuming he just, when the timelines did all that stuff, he just went back to being the movie star in Zaniac. But they don't explain that. I'm just assuming. But yeah, really good way to end it. If they don't make a season 3, at least we're not on a cliffhanger, and it does work. Tom Hiddleston has done a great job portraying, over 2 seasons, Loki's arc of retribution. And, without retribution. I can't think of the word. But he's redeemed, his redemption arc. And now he controls time. It is letting and is protecting the multiverse while also giving it enough free reign to grow. on its own. No more controlling everyone's actions to get to a set point. It will go as it goes. Really like that. Yeah. Well, great episode, great special effects. The rest of the cast really didn't have much to do. It was more centered on Hiddleston. Some got some good lines, but Wilson did get a nice little poignant moment there at the end when he's watching himself. But yeah, good episode. Really enjoyed it. Hope there's a season 3, but if not, this is a good stopping point. Please hit like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.